Well, I noticed a lot of new faces this evening, and I'm so glad you all came. And I want you to know that this is a safe place to share. So if you want to tell us your story, there'll be no judgment.
Hi, my name is Charlie, and as you know, I have a problem. I'm addicted to cars. You know, I always say every episode pretty much that I'm super excited about today's episode, but I have to tell you that this one is different. I'm so excited about this. You're not gonna believe what I'm sitting in right now. I can't believe what I'm sitting in right now. So without a big to-do, I just want to show you this and then we'll talk about it. Check this out. Yes, my friends, that is correct. Behold, a 1987 Ford Escort. This is an XR3i, possibly a motorsports edition. The owner is not positive that he can guarantee that that's not something done aftermarket. But if this is an original special edition, this thing is unbelievably rare. Unbelievably rare. First of all, I never thought I'd see another Ford Escort in my lifetime. But I surely had no idea that I would find one of these. So yeah, 1987 Ford Escort XR3i. This is actually was imported from France, where I think they got it from the original owner. So yeah, this one has, I think he said like 50,000 kilometers on it, so roughly 30,000-ish miles. So this thing was definitely babied. He's done some work to it, but for the most part, I mean, it's all original, and it was the south of France, so he said the weather's pretty dry there, and that's probably what saved it from rusting. So anyways, just a quick history on the Ford Escort. In North America, we're going to talk about that first because that's quick and easy. But North America, the Ford Escort was a range of cars sold by Ford from 1981 to 2003 model years. It was the direct successor of the Ford Pinto and the German-made Fiesta. So this took over their compact car market. I didn't know, I'm sure plenty of you are bigger enthusiasts than I am, but the Ford Escort, I knew it was in the European market, but I didn't know it was in the European market for that long. The Escort was manufactured by Ford of Europe from 1968 till 2000. There were 6 generations. More than 4 million Escorts, counting all the generations, were sold in Europe over that period of 33 years. So these things were as big as they were here, and I joke with a lot with my kids and a lot of younger people that just can't fathom how many Escorts were on the road in the 80s and 90s here in the US. There was even more in Europe. I mean, they were huge there. Particular model of Escort, so they looked a little bit different. They looked a lot like old two-door Toyotas or Mazdas or Datsuns at the time for a long time. But in this iteration of the Escort, it came about in 1980. This was the first model that they switched to a front-wheel drive platform. So this was the first front-wheel drive Escort. As far as the special edition, which is the XR3, that was actually taken from America, where we had the XR7 with the Mercury Cougars. I guess they liked the sound of that. It sounded nice and sporty. So they took it and made it the XR3. It was actually just a variant on the standard model, so it's like a sport package. They were trying to compete with the Golf, Volkswagen Golf GTI, which kind of owned that market. But this thing came out with about 96 horsepower, and it was not quite as fast or high performance as the Golf. But the overall speed, top speed I guess, because the aerodynamics on this were much better, it wasn't that far off the Volkswagen. But the looks of this were really popular. It was kind of a sleek looking car, and it was priced well, so it took off. I mean, Escorts, like I said, they were all over. Huge sellers. 1983, they added a convertible XR3. 1984, they had an RS turbo version, and that's the holy grail. This one's super rare, but that RS version is, I mean, if you do find one, they're super expensive. I think Princess Diana's had one, and it just sold, I mean, it was hers, so that adds tons of value, but it sold for an obscene amount of money. 1986, they went to the next generation, MK4. It was a plusher, quieter interior, new engine mounts, suspension tweaks, optional ABS, and they actually had their first XR3i convertible. In 1988, they had a power top for the convertible. 1989, they had another facelift, and they increased the performance to, the engine had 108 horsepower, which, I mean, it's not a lot, but these are quick and fun to drive. And then in 1990, the XR3i, the special edition sporty Escort, was dropped from the lineup. So yeah, that's just a brief history of this, basically this iteration of the Ford Escort. Again, in the United States, they started in 1981. So they picked up the Escort with, I guess, the third generation, the MK3 in Europe. And that's when it first went to front wheel drive, and that's when they first brought them over here to the United States. And again, they took off. These things were all over the road. It's an anomaly. It's kind of a running joke with me and some of my friends. Where have all the Escorts gone? Basically, rust issues just ate them. Ate them, and they disintegrated slowly before our eyes. And now, like I said, you're hard pressed to find one. You just don't see them. You certainly don't see sporty ones like this, but just a regular Escort, you don't see one. I think I saw one for sale 2 years ago. It was the Mercury Lynx. So the Mercury, a little slightly upgraded version of the Escort. And I wanted to buy it, to be honest, but didn't have the money at the time. So when I got off the freeway, and I'm 5 minutes from here, I'm driving through Bel Air, and I'm driving past Rodeo Drive, and I'm seeing Lamborghinis, and I'm seeing Bugattis, and I'm seeing Ferraris. And yeah, they're nice, obviously. But what am I excited to see? 1987 Ford Escort XR3i. Unbelievable. So this guy said the interior is all original. Sorry, I got my stuff in there. Interior is all original. All he did was, the upholstery is original, but he had it restuffed so they're nice and firm. I mean, it feels like brand new in here. No rips. Headliner's amazing. It's got a crank sunroof, a la my Volkswagen Beetle. 5-speed manual. Really, really cool spoiler. I don't know, man. I thought I was the only one that would geek out over a Ford Escort, and then I posted one on our TikTok channel and it went bonkers. So I'm clearly not the only person who loves these things, even if it's just for nostalgia purposes. Everybody's got an Escort story. They either had one, their parents had one, their siblings had one. You know, they bought a used old one for 300 bucks and it was their first car. Who knows? But everybody's got a story about the Ford Escort. They're freaking cool. And this one is just so cool. I would love to drive around in this thing. Wow. How awesome is this, guys? I want to give a big thank you to Thomas. That's his car. He is a very cool guy. He's got an amazing car collection of classics, of sports cars, of obscure cars. His taste is impeccable, his eye's impeccable. He was showing me some of that stuff and my mind was just blown. Unbelievable. So big thanks to him. Thomas also wanted me to mention that that Escort is for sale. So I don't imagine it's gonna be there long, but and it's super rare. I think it's original and it's amazing, and there probably aren't many like it in the entire world. So if you're a collector, you should jump on this thing because it's amazing, honestly. So yeah, follow, I'm gonna put Thomas's Instagram handle in the comments. You can follow him there and contact him if you're interested in purchasing this car. Give him some car glutton love, I would appreciate it. And other than that, I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.